Best of r/malicious compliance episode 9. I am a mobile user so grammar and spelling might not be the greatest. TL. Doctor at bottom. Some backstory. I'm a freshman in high school, 9th grade, which means I don't have money, ever. I also can't go a day of school without listening to music, so these points will be important. I had these old pair of earbuds that I got at Target for $10. They were nothing special except for the bud itself. It was a smaller bud than the Apple earbuds, but the same idea. I had these from 6th grade to the end of 8th grade. It was a long time and I was surprised. Then one day, I noticed the aux plug was wiggly and I didn't really want that stuck in my phone's earbud jack, so I decided to get a new pair. Since I am a broke high schooler too young to get a job, I do some extra chores around the house and rack up about $6.25 and decided I'd buy earbuds from Five Below because Christmas was only a couple months away. This was in October, so I asked my dad if we could go to Five Below and we set out. There's one near my mom's house, so we go there. Found a pretty decent pair, or so I thought, of black earbuds, and I decide to buy them. Imagine my face when a week later they don't work, so I return them. Here's the conversation that went down. Me, Becky, the cashier, Joe, the manager. So I go to the counter and Becky is there. Me, I'd like to return these earbuds. They broke about yesterday. Becky, I'm so sorry to hear that. Let me grab my manager. She goes off to grab her manager while I wait at the cashier. Joe, hi sir, my name is Joe and I'm the manager. What do you need? Me, hi, I would just like to return these earbuds. Joe, do you have the receipt? Me, unfortunately I do not. Joe, that is a bummer. But what I can do is either replace the earbuds or give you the refund on a Five Below gift card. Now I realize that the Five Below earbuds are not worth it, so I go for the gift card. Then I come up with a plan. Me, smirks, I'd enjoy it if I could get the gift card. Joe, no problem. I can do that and you can be on your way. He gets a gift card and puts the full refund on it, so I take it and grab something that's about to break. Not that hard since everything is $5 or below except the electronics, which are now $6 almost. I take them to the cashiers and Becky is there and she stares at me while she rings up the clearly almost broken pop socket that has a rainbow on it. I get a receipt, get my item, and since the earbuds were $6, I still have around $0.50 on the gift card. As I'm walking out the door, the pop socket breaks and I go back inside. Me, can you get a manager? I'd like to return this pop socket. Becky, yeah, whatever, I'll get him over. She goes off again. Joe, looks me dead in the eye and sighs, what do you want now? I clearly have a job I'm supposed to be working. Me, I'd like to refund this pop socket. It broke while I was still in the store. Joe, sure. Do you wait. Did you buy that with the gift card? Me, yes, and yes, I do have my receipt. I'd like a full refund. Joe, whatever. Have your money. Me, thank you. Have a good day. Joe, scoffs. So I walked out of the store with my almost full cash refund of the earbuds. TL. Doctor manager wouldn't let me return broken earbuds without receipt, so I use the earbuds to swap with something broken and return that with the receipt and get almost full cash refund and a manager that hates me. My sister had her first day soon at the store. Thank you. Next. When I was 8 I got an iPad, and when I was 9 I got a Wii U, and my parents referred to electronics as my iPad, so my parents said no iPad for a week. I played on my Wii instead. They learned to mention all electronics, well, groundbreaking. Me. It was fun while it lasted. Thank you. Next. I am a night staff worker, working in a care home with children with challenging behavior. Though my job title is night support worker, it's more like glorified cleaner because the children almost always sleep through the night without issue. I really enjoy my job, it fits perfectly around my family and the pay is good. Recently this new woman was hired, let's call her Ricky. I hate her. I've worked there for nearly a year and have a good relationship with staff and the children. Though I lone work, my fellow night workers are just lovely women and we chat on a WhatsApp group and we're very protective of each other. Since Icky started she kept leaving messages on how night staff should be doing this, night staff need to do that, F off Icky, if management need us to do something I'll hear it from them, not you. The final straw came when this message was left for night staff on a night shift a few weeks back. Night staff need to be checking the fridge for out of date food. There was some food that had gone off which I had to chuck out, and night staff need to ensure they're checking the fridge. I took umbrage with this for two main reasons. One, it's actually day staff's job to be checking the food date sect. They have a checklist which needs to be ticked off every day, and making sure food is labeled and in date is one of the tasks. 2. Icky has been here for 5 minutes. I've had fart smells linger longer, and for someone so green to write a message like that, jog the F on. Now for sweet malicious compliance. So if Icky thinks it's night staff's job is to maintain the food safety standard, alright, I will. That night and every night shift I was on for the next 2 weeks, I meticulously went through every cupboard in the fridge and threw away everything that was opened, not labeled or wrapped up, including sauces, condiments, sandwich meats, dairy products, everything. One night I literally threw away half a fridge worth of food, which in a non-care home environment wouldn't normally be an issue, but food safety standards states food needs to be wrapped once opened and labeled. I also left a note every time I had throw away food. Staff need to be sealing and labeling food correctly. As night staff don't know when food products were opened, we have to assume it's out of date to comply with food safety standards. It got to the point where management pulled me to one side and said, "Why are you throwing so much food away?" I responded by opening the fridge and showing them an opened pack of ham, not sealed, not labeled. In the back of the ham packet it says once opened, use within 3 days. So I said I was told night staff need to be checking the fridge, and every time I've checked it the day staff aren't labeling food or storing it correctly, then I have to assume it's out of date. I showed management the message and I was told actually it's day staff job and night staff don't need to worry about that. Shock. Horror. So management made a clear statement about day staff responsibilities and took Icky to one side to have a chat. Take that, Icky. Note, I know it should be criminal to throw food away like that, but UK food safety standards required it. So please no angry comments about food waste. I know it's a travesty. Thank you. Next. I really thought this guy was going to get into trouble about this, but he didn't. He was sitting in my row in the window seat and had repeatedly reported the kid sitting behind him kicking his seat back, but no amount of harsh words from the stewardess to the adult woman sitting in the middle seat next to the unruly kid had any effect on making the woman control the kid. The man asked for a different seat, but the plane, Southwest, was full and all seats occupied. The guy stood and went back to the row behind the unruly kid and asked a passenger sitting in the middle seat if the man would temporarily let him sit there until he could remedy a problem he was having with the kid constantly kicking his seat back. The passengers in the near rows were all aware of my complaints, so the accommodating passenger willing complied. The irritated passengers sat in the middle seat behind the adult woman and immediately began kicking the seat back of the uncooperative female adult sitting next to the kid, and she immediately pushed the call button, and it seemed a while before the stewardess responded to her call. In a loud screaming voice she blasted the stewardess and the guy doing the kicking, and the stewardess just smiled at her and walked away. The guy who had loaned his seat laughed loudly and uttered something unprintable which made the woman madder. Then other adult passengers began calling her insulting names and she shut up. The man sitting behind her continued kicking her seat back and pulling down on the top of it. I had expected her to argue and make an ugly scene, but she just slunk down into her seat and tried to hide as she received her treatment. The guy doing the kicking leaned over and asked her if she was enjoying her ride and of being made a fool of, but she didn't respond. All passengers laughed. He asked if she was going to control her kid the rest of the flight and she screamed out that she would. The man thanked the passenger who had loaned the middle seat and the man resumed his window seat. There were no more complaints about the kicking kid. Edit: since everyone is going crazy, my is a typo. Thank you. Next. Hope this belongs here. TL. Doctor at bottom. So, after a rough day I'm sitting in bed and I ask my boyfriend which treat I should eat to cheer up. He says the chocolates with the acai berry in the middle so he can have some too. Me. Alright, go grab the bag please. BF. No, I'm only grabbing a small handful, like 5. Granted, these are super small like chocolate covered berries. Me. Not if we are sharing. I want 5 myself at least. Please BF. I'm sure 5 isn't even the serving size. Miss Mads me, knowing full well it would be definitely more. Okay. Please give me the serving size. I want the exact service size. He came back into the room laughing with the bag. I outstretched my palm and he started dropping the chocolates in my hand. My hands are small and I'm laughing the whole time and finally exclaim, "Okay, that's enough. Just tell me, How many is the serving size? 16. TL. Dr. Boyfriend didn't want to give me my own 5 chocolates, so he said he'd grab the serving size. I accepted and asked for it exactly knowing full well it would be more. He tried handing me 16. Thank you. Next. Edit. Yes. Preteens in the title is a major leap. I don't know their age to the second. They could even be Benjamin Button. Stop asking. About a year ago I remember the restaurant I used to work in, a notable sports bar, was playing a very important football match. Arguably the most important of the season. 2 months prior to the match we were getting calls for reservations, and by the final week we had every table booked. Now something you should know about our restaurant is that it is set up quite oddly. Some tables have a better view of our TVs whereas others don't. That's compensated somewhat by the availability of 2 pull-down projector screens. Anyway, this particular story relates to such a table. If you imagine walking into this restaurant, the table is facing horizontally to the nearest TV. So, without the projector screen there would be 2 guests with their backs to the action. Then arrives the guests, everything seems to be going fine. They arrive early, and I take them to their table. The leader of the group, let's call him Chad, obviously isn't that much impressed. Chad, how the fuck are we supposed to watch the TV? Frankly, I'm a little bit taken aback by his language, but given it's game day and it's understandably frustrating, from his point of view he probably isn't aware of the projector screen. Me, well, we do. That's when he interrupts. Chad, can we sit over there? He's pointing to a 8-seater booth. I know why. It's because it has arguably the best view of our biggest TV. Nevertheless, his is a 4-man booking and that 8-seater is obviously already booked. Me, that table is booked, as is every other, and again with another interruption. Chad, well fucking put someone else here. We want to sit there. Bearing in mind his 3 other mates are silent throughout. In retrospect they are all arguably so much more polite than this bag of pus. Me, well that wouldn't be fair, now would it? Now if you let me explain. Chad, no fuck this and fuck you. I'll take my money elsewhere. Cancel my booking. I very nearly laughed at that last bit, because I know why he made such a big deal about the larger table now. I would later find out that this particular cretin is stinking rich. He has daddy's money. But oh well, 1 booking cancelled. No sweat. The 3 boys leave led by the walking testicle. That's when the next group of customers really turns the situation well around. Customer, I'm sorry, I couldn't help overhear that they cancelled their booking. We haven't booked, and we're 4 persons. Can we have their table instead? This is exactly why 1 cancelled booking for me on a busy day like this is no sweat. 1 person's trash is another's treasure, so to speak. I happily sit the 4 men down, and the guys actually cheer when I bring the projector down. That's when it happens. Testicle McDoucherface rounds the corner and spots the projector. He re-enters the queue for tables and waits his turn. By the time he's up front, I can barely hide my grin. Chad, so, we changed our mind, meaning he changed his mind and now wants the table. Now he realizes that nowhere else in the city has vacancy. Me, I'm afraid your table's already been given away. Chad, but we reserved. Me, yeah, and you also communicated to me just now that you wish to cancel. I'm afraid your table was already given away. Chad, you know, that's a really bad business practice. You should honor your commitments to reservations. Me, as long as the reserving party wishes to remain, which you did not communicate to me at all. I then leave the host stand and tend to that table. All the while Chad is giving me a look that I can only describe as I fucked up, but internally I'm gonna make sure this is all your fault. Sweet, sweet karma. Thank you. Next. Okay, so I just got home from this event and I'm still shocked. Before I start, just saying I'm on mobile, so excuse my spelling and grammar. So I was at my local grocery store with my mom because I had to use the bathroom and the plumbing in my neighborhood was shut down due to a broken pipe down the street. My mom was doing some last minute Thanksgiving shopping, so I was waiting by the electronics and listening to music while looking at the movies and TV shows when one catches my eye. I'll tell you at the end because it's hilarious. I pick it up and glance at it when I get the famous ahem of a Karen right behind me. Karen, excuse me, employees aren't supposed to wear these. She says this as she yanks out my earbuds. Now I am wearing a red shirt, which is what employees wear, but they have the logo on the front and back while mine is blank on all sides. Me. Sorry, I don't work here, ma'am. Karen. Yeah right, don't make me get your manager. She had that smug voice and her annoying child behind her. He looked around 10. Entitled kid. Mommy, I want that one. He was pointing at the show I was holding. Karen. You heard him, give it to me. She held out her hand expecting me to hand it over. Me. Ma'am, this show is not for key. Karen. It's animated, of course it is. Me. You said. Entitled kid. I want IT. He started crying and rolling on the floor. Karen. Just shut up and give IT here, you dumb employee. At this point a manager walks by because he wanted to check out all the noise. Manager. Is there a problem here? Karen. Yes, this stupid employee is wearing headphones and made my son cry because he won't give my son the movie. Manager. Sorry ma'am, this boy doesn't work here, and if I may ask, who got the movie first? Her face was red with anger after hearing I wasn't an employee. Me. I did, but I'm not planning on buying it. Manager. If that's the case, then could you please give it to this lady? With a sense of malicious intent I said okay and gave it to her. The kid instantly stopped and got all happy, and the Karen had a smug look on her face. Manager. So are we good here? Me. Yes we are. I later saw her walk out of the store with her kid still holding the show. The kid was pretty entitled, but maybe he will have a change of heart after he watches a few episodes of his new collection of part 1 and 2 of JoJo. TLDR. Rude woman thinks I'm an employee and her kids wants the part 1-2 collection of JoJo I was holding, and she got what she wished for.